Welcome to Creativity and Robots, and today we have Pakko de la Torre-Rocha. Pakko has led teams at top agencies like Ogilvy and Maida and TVW Air Chayat Day. That was hard to pronounce. What we'll cover will be how AI can streamline video creation, making the process faster and more efficient. He'll be sharing some of his workflow, tips for using AI tools to improve social media campaigns, and last but not least, how AI-driven analytics can optimize advertising strategies, resulting in better targeting. Let's go ahead and watch the episode. Thank you for joining Creativity and Robots, Pakko. I see that your roles went from art direction to creative direction. You know, you work with these Super Bowl ads for Volkswagen and Wix.com. But then you also did Nike, Toyota, Gatorade, Cisco, Starbucks, Netflix, Disney, $10,000, right? But I imagine that at a certain point in your career, you discover AI for the first time and you feel something. So what was your first reaction the first time you found out about the generative AI technology?
My first reaction, that was actually, about a couple of years ago when Mid-Journey first came out. And it was obviously a shock. A shock because I knew that this was a baby step for new technologies. Like I knew at that moment, something like this would be completely amazing in the next couple of years. That technology was going to advance so fast that it would be replacing obsolete technology very fast. I knew it was the spark. It was coming next. Like it was exciting. It was scary at first. And then later it became, no, let's not be scared. Let's just embrace it. That's the point. So obviously that was a couple of years ago with Mid-Journey when it first came out. Actually the beta version of Mid-Journey because I had access to the beta version. And you remember back then, it was clunky,
Yeah, like here's
graphics,
a cat.
a little bit
And
weird.
you'd see like something.
Yeah.
That looked like a cat.
True. It was crazy stuff like this. But the cool thing is that instead of being scared, like a lot of people will have to say today, they are very scared. I actually embraced it in a way that was more positive, more optimistic. And this is the way I've been doing my career all day long. When a new technology comes out, I embrace it right away because it is the trending moment of technology, whatever that is at the moment. Like blockchain was a couple of years, 3 years ago. Let's do that. Web3, boom. Then that went down. Then you have to go on the next one. And it's a good way to survive. You have to do this kind of mentality to survive in technology and creativity. So
I want to dig into that, right? Because surviving, it's a strong word, right? And one of the first things when I see the content you post online, you know, or I go through your portfolio, which will show some B-roll here for those of you watching the video. But right, like the last thing I would think is like, this guy's not worried about AI. Obviously, he's on top of stuff. But then you mention, at first you actually felt fear. And then you were like, I got to learn this to survive. So do you see a possible negative effect for creatives like you and me and those getting started in 2024?
Yeah, so because in today's times, especially how the ad industry, working advertising, in the advertising industry, even before AI came along, it was really quite difficult for live creatives, especially the independent creators. You probably saw how ad agencies, especially the large one, they've been going through layoffs, they've been going through difficult times, and a lot of our people that only work on television, traditional media, like print, radio, the traditional media, they suffer quite a bit in job security. Well, the people that embrace the new technologies, even AI, for example, I think they're better positioned to be safer on themselves because, you know, when you acquire AI as part of your toolkit, you actually empower yourself to be 10 times more powerful than you are. So it's not just you alone. You use AI on top of you, and it's like you multiply your power by 10 times. And that's across all the tools available with AI. So that's kind of where my mind is at this moment. You know, the future is all about embracing the technology to make it yourself more efficient, more powerful, more everything, and try to stay ahead for everybody. And actually, we probably saw this already, but using AI, one small team fully equipped with AI can be faster, more efficient, and better creatively than a large holding company like the Ogilvy, the Churches, you know, they're gonna hate me for saying this, but it's true. We can run
Yeah.
circles around them, and this technology is the equalizer for
And you'd
everybody.
be surprised because I do see, I mean, again, yes, agencies don't want to hear that, there's change coming and just like the regular creative worker, we'll have to adapt. We can complain, but at the end of the day, there will be change. That's a fact, right? I'd rather have an agency over that change, so that's why I get involved. I'm assuming you do too, right? But I'm sure agencies are figuring out that, hey, something's gonna have to change. Once we lay off everyone, which also it's already been proven, it doesn't work. In your
Yes,
case, when I think about the use cases that agencies are probably looking at to see, okay, how we survive, how do we become leaner, meaner, blah, 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 right? You have been developing chatbots, optimizing social media campaigns, using generative
yes.
AI for visuals, the user experience, reading analytics. So, which aspect are you enjoying the most about all these technologies or all these use cases?
Data analysis, like you said, marketing campaign
Mm-hmm.
optimization, that is like a must-have for all big agencies. You can just throw AI to optimize campaigns, and it'll give you fast results right away. So whether you have a $5 million budget to run a digital campaign across Spotify, paid media, banner ads, whatever it is, and if you don't know exactly how efficient it's gonna be, there are tools today that will make it much more accurate prediction of how your campaign will perform. So that alone is worth everything, the time and effort you put into putting AI into your
Right.
organization. And it's not about them. We're not replacing people or anything. Just making sure the prediction of those results will be good. So those dollars that you're spending on media buying will be very, very accurate. And using AI, part of the marketing optimization, you can also change things fast. Like if something's not working with your media buy, using AI, you can quickly change it in 5 seconds to another target market fast without having to go to 1,000 interfaces or platform to change manually like the old days, all these media buys and so forth. So media buyer is a big thing. And that's one thing. But there's also the strategy part. And then if you have all the data at your
Alrighty.
disposal, you can just put it inside a certain AI platform, and this data will be quickly analyzed to make sure your strategy is on point. So a planner in advertising can use AIs and then add it to his strategy depth and then run it by the AI tools, and then will give you a deep research and deep, almost like making sure all the check marks
Mm-hmm.
are accurate and making sure it's good. So this it's a
Mm-hmm.
no-brainer.
We just covered what you do for like clients, but also one of the things that it's one of the things we find out, right? When people start learning about your work, you go to your page, boom, they're gonna have like 10,000 videos popping up with the crazy stuff. That's actually one of the things that draw my attention to your work. If you're listening to the audio version, probably you want to watch this one on YouTube because you're gonna be missing out on a lot. But
Yes.
uh, I want to talk about that workflow, that process you follow. And the first thing I'd like to do is I'm going to ask you how do you come up with the idea, whether you're using, let's say you want to create a Mexico drone video, right? We're about to watch it in 1 minute. But first, when you started coming up with this idea,
Okay.
did you work on the script using Claude, for example? Was it all like from your brain? How's that creative process starting?
Yes. So let's talk about how I come up
Mm-hmm.
with an idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a pitch for a client, a brand, company, whatever it is. In the old days, like most of our creators, we come up usually with a mood board or a storyboard and maybe a little sample edited video based on
Mm-hmm.
found footage to come up with a theme, a concept. So once the idea is locked down, you have to come up with the idea, whether it's some sketches, some brainstorming on the computer a little bit, or even throw some ideas into Claude to get
Mm-hmm.
some inspiration. Then come the time to develop mood boards, storyboards, or some visual guidance for the client to see the concept. Before the old days, as of like a couple of years ago, we all had to do it the old way. Find stock photos, Photoshop it, and then spend hours trying to add elements into your layout in order to build a decent storyboard. So a good storyboard could take like maybe a week or maybe 2 weeks, depending on how much time you have to pitch. Well, those days were gone. The moment all these tools came out, I was able to do everything in a few hours. And that was just like mind-blowing because then I could spend more time refining the idea than worrying too much about the execution of the storyboard. So it made me feel less pressure about the final visual quality and therefore have more freedom to focus on the idea itself. Because sometimes I would flesh out a whole storyboard and the idea wasn't locked down properly, but I didn't have time to refine the idea because I spent too much time building these visuals on Photoshop, After Effects, whatever. So now that the block has been removed, I actually spend more time on the idea. And that way it should be at all times. It's all about the idea, not the execution. Because in advertising, they have a saying, like, it looks beautiful, but the idea is, it's okay. So now it's like, the idea will be beautiful regardless with AI. But the execution will be beautiful with AI. But now the execution, you don't have to worry about it. So anyway, I spend time doing the tools, like sometimes I use Stable Diffusion because I have a custom setup in my PC. A Stable Diffusion with country UI, and depending on what I'm trying to achieve, I load in workflows. Workflows are like databases of styles. So whether I want something more illustration-like or something more photo-related, I load in the workflow. Then you do your prompt, or you can also add like image reference or style, and then you can output some amazing stuff for like visual, like keyframes, for example. Sometimes, of course, in the journey because it's easy to get great quality. But lately, I've been using Leonardo AI, and I have great results with that. And I did get accepted into the Leonardo Creators Program, with some sort of like a small club of creators, where we get like all these benefits because we are creators, access to early tool before the public. And I've been able to see what's coming up ahead for Leonardo. It's going to be quite impressive. Like, it's amazing. You can do visuals in so many ways. So it's like basically Stable Diffusion, but in the cloud, and allow you to quickly load and stuff without having to spend hours on the computer trying to figure out how to load that. This simplifies everything. So once you output stuff like this, you get awesome keyframes. I load my storyboards and mood boards. And if I have to do motion, you can do some motion in Leonardo, or nowadays, of course, Runway just came out, an amazing alpha, Gen 3 alpha, and it's pretty cool. The only thing I don't like about Runway 3 alpha at the moment, that I cannot load my own frames, meaning you have to do text to video instead of image to video. So because of that limitation, I still rely a lot on Luma. So on Luma, you upload your image and then you type in your prompt, and it will create an animation based on the image that you uploaded. So for me, that's very important.
You like having like
kind of
that
stuff, and that's great.
Control of the details, not it's not so much a roll of the dice, but something where it's more intentional. Pakko.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Before we get into the weeds, do you want to go ahead and watch this beautiful video? Let's go, Pakko. You're about to see my desktop, so don't be scared, just a lot of final exports in version 5.
Yeah, this one is like that was the first test I did with Runway, and the next version I went crazy. Now it's like 2 minutes long. I involved Mexican Westerners in the mask, inside Mexico City, like doing crazy thing. It's like a surreal world, you know. I even added underground tunnel into the USA as a joke. Yeah, that kind of stuff. And so yeah, it came out pretty funny, controversial funny, but that's the whole point because you can do
Yeah.
anything you want these days. And so I was able to produce something like this in
Uh,
just a few minutes. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
but
half
well,
an hour.
half an hour is pretty impressive. I was like patting myself on the back because I put together a video like this, from like the first idea on a napkin to like the final export in
Hmm
14 hours. And then you come and go like, I can do that in 30 minutes. But Paco, the video looks beautiful, right? You get this drone shot, then the camera, you got people dancing, like portraying those beautiful colors and energy in Mexico City. Can you walk us, and without getting in the super, nuanced detail, but like overall, what's your workflow for creating a video like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a fan of drone shots, you know, cinematic, slow motion drone shot or panning or whatever. I'm a fan of
Hmm.
camera movement to establish cinematic approaches. So before Runway came out, I was already experimenting with drone shot
Hmm.
using Leonardo, another platform. And I realized that by entering certain prompts to say slow zooming or, you know, low angle store shot to the street of Mexico City, if I type in certain prompt with it, I will get those results like this. So with Runway, I did the same workflow that I was doing before with Leonardo, except this time I was more specific because I started like start high and then go low into the street. You have to have a good command of grammar, good command of storytelling in your mind to be able to tell the program, the platform, to do the camera exactly
Hmm.
how you want it. So you have to be able to translate your thoughts into movements within type out. So I'm able to do that quite efficiently. So I did that kind of shot. First scene by scene. So kind of like think of it like 10
Yeah.
second long scenes. So when you write something, think of like 10-second shot. So describe the scene in 10 seconds and write it. If your prompt is too long, like it's not like 10 seconds, you can get like weird result. But if you keep it like 10 seconds, your emotion on your scene, you will get good result. Because people sometimes type in too long and you get
Hmm.
messed up result with it. So keep it simple, keep it no longer than 10 seconds, and you get exactly the same scenes that you want. And of course, it's going to be sending you a lot of tokens, credits, because something like Runway, by doing a lot of mistakes, you can run out of credit pretty fast. And that costs quite a bit
Yeah.
of money every month. That's my secret with this. So once you have each scene assembled, then later just edit them in your favorite editing program. Which, by the way, I use Premiere most of the time with my professional
Yeah.
at work, Adobe Premiere. I've got Pro. It
Love it.
saved the day.
That's how I got the clips
Yes.
for this podcast. Actually, I use either Riverside or CapCut, and I'm like, bye.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Done
Hmm.
fast in my phone. So I've been trying to do 90% of my work in my phone
Yeah.
nowadays. I mean, when possible. You don't have to go do always. But if I use CapCut Pro, you save time. And today it's all about saving time so you can focus on idea more and less on spending too much time on execution. That requires you to have a good background and understanding how the tool works, you know, the traditional tool. But if you can focus back on idea, you can get so much far ahead. So that video that you saw would have normally taken
Hmm.
maybe weeks or maybe a week or something. Imagine. And then I mean the permit for the city, buying maybe an
Permits.
all-day shoot, then going back to post-production. I mean, think about it. So now, nothing. Press a button, write it, know what to do,
Yeah.
edit, you're done
Paco,
in like an
Paco,
hour.
you bring a
That's
point
it.
that you're the first person bringing it up here in the podcast, which is running out of tokens, right? Do you find
Yes.
yourself being able to have more intention on how you create things and getting results that you already know you're going to get? Especially because you say if you're like just messing around, you're gonna run a pretty bill,
Yes.
AI or not.
So I've been able to do little small tests before using the most expensive ones. One way at the moment is quite expensive. And then, of course, you have Luma, which is less expensive in a way. And then you have Leonardo, who have to have the most freedom. So sometimes if I have this complex idea, first I test it out in a platform that won't cut me too much. And if it works, chances are that on Luma, it might be a better result. And if it's good, then I go all the way to runway. So I'm not using up all my credit on runway on day one. I start use Stable Diffusion or Midjourney. I'm sorry, Stable Diffusion or Leonardo. Yeah. Or Pick a Labs. Or Pick a Lab, like this. And then practice, because a lot of I realize prompting works similar across all platforms. They have this similar language of understanding. It's a pattern that is not very well documented. Like what you prompt, type in the prompt in one platform, you have a 60 to 70% chance that will work the same way in the other ones. And not just for motion, but also for images. And I did this test across different platforms. So if you apply that mentality of like, before you go crazy trying to get the right shot on the most expensive credit platform, which is one way, start small and experiment a lot, get your experiment out of the way, and then move up.
What an amazing takeaway. Let me repeat this, Paco, because I think this is gold. And again, that's an approach that it's so, I like to call these tips like the tips that are so dumb that they're genius, because when you think about it, it makes all the sense in the world. And when I say dumb, it's like weird, the dumb ones that we didn't think of it first. But it's like, start with the tools, especially because we have so many tools in beta that allow you to try it for free. Start testing with those. Then once you kind of figure out what you're getting, you're having more control of the output, go and spend the money, which is kind of the same thing as when you're learning to play the guitar. Don't get the Fender. Start with, a cheap one. Figure out if you are actually passionate about this and move forward. Now, Paco, someone like you, someone like me, in a way, we're sort of like part of our job is being up to date with all the tools and knowing what's going on and hopefully try to learn it as soon as possible, right? Because AI is part of our work every day. But now I know a lot of people that they feel comfortable with ChatGPT. They play around. Maybe they play with Claude a couple of times, but they're listening to Runway, the Luma, all these things. And I know it gets overwhelming. So if you were to start all over again in, what are we, July, right? We're in July 2024. What would be your first step to learn how to use these tools without getting overwhelmed? Like simple, easy steps to get started.
That's true, because a lot of people feel the same way. I actually talked to a friend of mine who just stay in the ChatGPT bubble for copy stuff, mostly written stuff, and not enough for video, or there's nothing for the video on ChatGPT, but for images. And he feels intimidated by all these other tools available. There's more than 15 good tools out there. And I say good because they can be part of your daily toolkit. But to incorporate them on a daily basis is a lot, quite intimidating for a lot of them. So my best suggestion would be to sign up for as many as you can on the free plan. They all have a free plan. And you don't have to be an expert in all of them, but at least understand how they work on a basic level. Just like get the free plan, you have to pay for the most expensive plan. I think get the free plan, play around with it, and compare it to the other tools. And try to save it in a simple Excel sheet with your own notes and keep track of it. Because every day you have a new tool that comes out. You need to have an Excel sheet with everything that comes out and what it does. Keep it like all organized, tidy table. And then every month they have upgrades. Then make sure you upgrade that. So the moment in the future, when you have a project that requires a specific thing, you will know what tool to grab and put it into that day's workflow. But it's important to open up an account and play on the free trial for all of them. That's my best recommendation. Because a lot of people think like, oh my God, I'm going to have to spend $30 here and then $40 here. That's going to be like $500 a month. No, you don't have to do that. Just get the free ones and save them under your Excel sheet and practice.
Just play, right?
And every month, here's the thing. Every month, most of these plans, the free plan, you get your more credits for free. So maybe I think Runway gives you like 200 I'm talking like 2,000 credit. I don't know, whatever it gets. Every plan gives you for free. So it will
Yeah.
reset every month.
Yeah.
And not for you
Just
to
play
learn.
around, right? Yeah.
But keep one page.
If you had to pick one tool, the one tool that it's like, this is easy enough for you to get started and kind of get the taste, so then you want to learn more. What's the one tool creatives can start working that it's free and it's easy enough to get, so you can suck without wasting a lot of money?
Yeah, so because of the way everybody's mind works, I mean, if you are a creator, you have to use this tool. If you are like a marketing director, maybe you don't use that much detail. So it depends on the type of person you are on a day-to-day, your career. But if you are a creator, I would highly recommend you just try to stay within Leonardo. You master Leonardo, you can do a lot like this. Like that. It's easy enough to get started, but if you dig in deeper, you can do some very advanced stuff. And it's a lot easier for a lot of people than mid-journey, who have, some people don't know the whole thing about Discord and support and just this commands and little line that you have to do. People will not get that. There's a lot of people that won't
Yeah,
get
it's
into
an
that.
overwhelming experience.
With Leonardo, you don't have to do that. Yeah, so it's important. So I would recommend Leonardo to get started, just for the sake of being able to create a solid image and then animate that image. Because if you try to do, for example, pick a lap a runway, you may not understand the motions of camera or be able to create individual things. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes. So with Leonardo, you have a lot of room to make mistakes and learn. That's the beauty of it. I mean, you will never feel like, oh my God, am I credit? Am I managed? You're never going to feel the pressure. It's just easy to go into. Like that. For people who are more advanced, I would recommend Stable Diffusion, but this is another topic for another day.
Pakko, as someone, that it's beta testing new tools, that it's very involved in the AI community, that gets to travel to different cities, right? Like LA, Dubai, I think Singapore as well, where there's a lot of hubs where there's innovation happening. What do you think it's next for creativity and generative AI?
In my opinion, it's quite heavily focused on video, like we talked about earlier, but with much more deeper control, being able to carefully select light, carefully select camera, carefully select characters. So it's definitely going to be video. That's the next boom coming up. I mean, when it comes to generative AI, there are new startups every day coming up. In fact, I just heard about one yesterday called Odyssey. Odyssey is going to be, it's actually backed by Hollywood people, which is very rare because Hollywood is almost against AI. But for some reason, Odyssey managed to get some Hollywood people behind this. So when I see something like Hollywood getting behind an AI platform like this changes the game. So I feel like there's a stronger thing that would be like movie making, Hollywood style, and the power of the right people. So right now, Hollywood studios are hating people, hating companies like OpenAI, they're hating companies like Runway because they don't have any control of it. So they started doing their own thing with their own group. So there's something happening in that kind of stuff here. So video, 100%. It's the next big AI thing, but it's going to be like down to the granular level. Now, having said that, doesn't mean like anybody can just jump in and create the movies. You still need to be a director, a producer, a creator, to be able to execute beautiful shots, be able to understand camera lenses, angles, long shot, Canon shot. All those words that we use on a daily basis to come up with film, you need to be able to do that. So you're not really replacing people. It's just using another tool. Instead of a nice giant camera, a reflex or whatever, it's your computer like this. But you're still dealing with some knowledge of people. So anyway, back to the point. That's where I think it's going to be heavy. At least, and by the way, this is just me and the next 5 months. After again in 5 months, it's going to be something else.
When I started doing this podcast, I come from the YouTube world, right? I've been creating YouTube content for a living for the last 10 years in different channels working with influencers, right? So I was used to, I just need to shoot content to have a pipeline in case anything happens. And pretty quickly, what I realized is that I literally have to shoot and make sure I release it within a week, because otherwise it gets outdated. I remember releasing an episode on the same day OpenAI announced GPT-4 Omega, and I was like, it's all outdated now. So, first of all, we'll be seeing this episode pretty quickly because of what you say, right? This is good as of July 2024. If you're watching this in December, we're sorry. Probably everything changed. So, Pakko, what's next for you in your career?
I feel like my career is like I have the power of what I was. Maybe, I don't know if this happens a lot with people, but when you start out in advertising, specifically in advertising, they have something where if you have too much experience, it's harder to get into certain roles, certain jobs. Or, the longer you are in advertising, creating market, the less likely you can stay there. But they prefer like people who are coming in. For example, this is the way it is in advertising. However, with AI, I feel like I went back in time, like back to the future, the lawyer. I'm suddenly young again, like the old days, but with much more power. And now I'm able to bypass so many people and bypass so many processes and companies just by using the power of AI on a daily basis. So I feel like my career just got another 20-year boost of my, I don't know, maybe I don't want to be working this for 20 years, but but I feel like I get another extension with this because I'm ready to change to something else. Like,
it's so interesting what you say, Pakko, because like literally how I felt about AI when I, started finding out about the technology and learning more about generative AI, I was like, this feels like early days of YouTube where anything goes, it's a little bit of a Wild West, but also especially for curious people like you and I, it's like, everything goes, you can just try, obviously keep it legal. There's a lot of bad things, but like, it's exciting. As a creator, at the end of the day, you want to be creating things that didn't exist before. So if they give you something that it's like, hey, might get results that you wouldn't get otherwise, that's like catnip. Of course I'm going to try it. Of course you're going to try it. What are we going to do? Like, it's just like a magnet, you want to go. So, Pakko, you have been in so many insights today for creators, right? Let's remind them. You explained your workflow for creating videos, gave tips on how to use Claude. We discussed how to give your first steps creating video with AI when it all gets overwhelming. We discussed the future of AI. So I think this has been super useful for folks. And this is the kind of video where I'd say put it on your favorites, and just rewatch because there's so much to unpack here. Where can people find out more about you and what you're doing with AI?
So I've been publishing a lot of content on LinkedIn, which is my personal LinkedIn. I use it like a personal blog as well. I always post like experiment, samples of work, awesome support. However, next month, or maybe this month actually, I will be publishing my new company. Well, I have a company that I've been launching for the past like 4 months. It's all AI company. And there will be a newsletter. And there will be a blog section, news section, where I'll be constantly adding my own processes, my own thoughts, ideas, experiment support. And it's called AIM World. Well, I'll tell you later the actual website name support. But it's going to be a one-stop place so people can see what's going on. Besides LinkedIn, keep it social like this. So that's one there, LinkedIn. And then on Instagram, I'm always posting something. Because I have quite amount of followers. People seem to look what I do. So I do post a lot of stuff on Instagram and on LinkedIn. So that's where it's coming short term. Then long term will be on that side of mine. It's going to be like a one-stop shop like this.
Pakko, I'm going to ask you, even if that link is not available by the time this episode goes up, which is probably next week, I'm going to ask you to share this with us because we are always updating notes. Whenever you have something exciting, we're happy to add it in the descriptions. Folks know that in the show notes, they'll find a link to your LinkedIn, Instagram, everything you want to share. We'll add it in there. So, Pakko, as someone that has such an impressive career and has won so many awards, it's a pleasure, that you got to sit with us for, let's say, 30 to 40 minutes. I don't know what the final edit will look like. But, I feel you've given us a lot, so I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and for everyone that is listening to Creativity and Robots on Instagram, on YouTube, Spotify, all the platforms. Thank you for joining. I do hope I see you again, and we'll see you next week with another interview. Thank you all for everything. Goodbye.
Amo la creación en mi pantalla, bits y bytes en danza, todo brilla, cada código que escribo canta. Sabor a cumbia.